So there's nothing worse than after that good drive, cold top in that fairway wood. Now, to be honest, I'm doing this video because I played golf with someone the other day who was great off the tee, really good with their irons, but struggled like mad with fairway wood. And it made me think that there's a lot of golfers out there probably in the same boat. So, first of all, what are we looking to achieve to hit a good fairway wood? So we're going to set up, put a swing on it, hopefully get the ball up in the air, nice and accurate, and we can see the contact there fairly central. The lowest point of my golf swing, 1.3 inches ahead, the club travelling down 1.6 degrees, and then a good distance at 235 and 256. Now, I think the biggest challenge for most golfers is they'll stand and say, I'm never going to hit my fairway wood like that. Maybe not that distance, but with the right setup and the right idea in your golf swing, you can strike 3 wood, 5 wood, 7 wood, whatever it is, well enough to give you a consistent distance and maximize some distance from the ground. So I said at the start, this video was very much around somebody I played golf with the other day, and he was good off the tee, good with his irons, struggled with fairway wood. And when I asked him what he was trying to achieve with the fairway wood, he told me that he understands that you're supposed to sweep the ball away. And I think that's a very common misconception. So if we look at when the ball's on the floor, in an ideal world, we would like the club to be moving down so that it hits ball and then ground. So when you look face on at your swing, that club moves in a circle around your body. So the circle has a lowest point of the swing. And as long as that low point is after the golf ball, it gives you that best chance to strike ball and then ground. So what I tend to see, this is definitely what I saw with my friend the other day, is he tended to get the ball very forward in his swing. So incredibly, almost like a driver. And then it was almost like, because he was trying to sweep the ball away, he was trying to stay behind. And if I do that movement, you can see my practice swing, I'm touching the ground maybe 5-6 inches behind the ball. Now I think golfers will hit the ground there, but as soon as they fat 150 yards, the brain thinks, right, let's miss the ground. So if you miss the ground there, the club's travelled up, and at best you catch it thin, very low off the face. Worst case, you top the ball, and it's incredibly easy when the ball's forward, stay behind it. If that had been much higher, the ball wouldn't have even got out the studio. And yet a lot of people then worry that they're making a really bad golf swing. So I think the first thing we've got to be aware is that when the ball's on the ground, we're looking to get that low point ahead of the golf ball. So when I mentioned that the other day, his first thing was, oh, I need to hit down more. Don't necessarily think the thought of hitting down helps, because if he just hits down and still keeps his low point behind the ball, he's in trouble. So I think the first thing I would say for a lot of golfers is move the ball position a little bit more towards the centre. Maybe not fully towards the centre, but kind of midway. So then you still want to treat this swing very like an iron. So you're going to make your backswing. You're going to start the downswing by shifting towards the target, and then you can kind of turn out the way. And that should start getting the lowest point a bit more ahead of the golf ball. And if you need to feel it, as the lower body shifts, let the upper body go with it. And we can see there my practice swing becomes much further in front of the ball. So I would always exaggerate this as well when you're practicing. So even start with the ball in the middle of the stance. So very almost like 7-iron. Try and move incredibly like 7-iron. And okay. Felt okay. Fairly near the middle. Low point 2.4 inches ahead. Clubs move down 3 degrees. And then I carry down at 204 and total 244. Now, even though that was a decent shot, I would just say there that with my 3 wood only having 15 degrees to begin with, as the club's moving down more excessively, it's keeping too much loft off the golf club. So the club was moving down, but maybe moving down too much. So this is where the move in the ball position becomes great. So if I said that was nicely in the middle, And I maybe would only like to be an inch ahead, for argument's sake. So I'm going to move the ball a couple of inches forward in the stance and then try and make the same movement. And straight away, we can see my low point only now 0.9 inches ahead. The club travelling down still, but much shallower into the ball. 233 carry and 259 total. So it's really important with the fairway woods. And obviously if you've got more loft in your hand, 5 wood, 7 wood, 9 wood perhaps, you might get away with the ball being even further back than I've had it there. But the idea of the ball being swept away, I do understand what people mean by that. They mean they want the club moving very shallow through the bottom. So not excessively down, not excessively up like you would see with driver. But as long as you can get good at controlling the lowest point of your swing and making sure that's ahead of the golf ball, that way you're going to present the club slightly leaning forward, you're going to catch slightly higher up the face where there's more loft, and that's going to get the ball in the air without you trying to stand there and manufacture something that gets the ball in the air, but very thin off the bottom of the club, low point behind, so the club moving up very slightly. And don't get me wrong, it's not the worst shot I've ever hit with 3-wood. And this is definitely something that as a kid held me back. Really struggled with 3-wood, was much better with long irons as a junior, and that's because I had that concept of getting that weight onto that front leg and compressing the golf ball. And I want to feel, even with 3-wood, that I can get that movement, get that feeling. And if you can control the low point ahead of the ball, even if the strike's not absolutely perfect, you're going to get the club moving down more shallowly. You're going to get some good carry, some good total, but maintain that accuracy. And for me, fairway woods are really important, particularly for those mid to high handicap golfers who maybe don't hit the tee shot as far as they'd like, so they have a lot of fairway woods into the green. Now the challenge is, even if you can't reach with 3-wood, if you're topping it 50 yards, you end up dropping down to 7-iron and maybe having to hit 2 good 7-irons to get there. But if you can build some confidence with the fairway wood, it is such a nice feeling to stand there. That one just turned over a little bit more than I would like, but low point still ahead. Still 227 carry and 251 total. Now, this still works as well, even with tee shots. Now, a lot of golfers at top fairway wood, when it's on the ground, hit it okay on the tee. Because the ball's up in the air, they tend to tee the ball quite high, get away with that low point being behind, club travels up, and they still get the middle of the club face on the ball. But I want you, even when you tee it down, treat it exactly the same as you would when it's on the ground. Make sure you shift into that lead side, get that low point ahead, and if you can stand up and deliver the club fairly consistently, you might hit slightly higher up the club face, but the angle of attack's still moving down. The distance is very similar, the shape's similar, and then whether you're hitting from the ground or the tee, you're going to be much more consistent with your fairway woods, and you're going to never top the ball ever again.